Well, hello all, and welcome to Training Tuesday. I am Heidi Reese, Dayton Superior's Training Programs Manager, and I'm happy that you've come to join us this fine Tuesday. Although it's raining outside, we're just talking about how depressing it looked, but we're going to make it a positive day instead. I want to go over a couple of items like we normally do real quickly just to get the housekeeping out of the way. Everyone who has joined muted, but I don't want that to stop you from interacting. You can do so through the Zoom chat and Q&A question and answer functionality. And you can do that to me, Heidi Reese, and I'll talk back with you, and we'll definitely have a Q&A session at the very end. Okay, so as always, this presentation is for training purposes only. Any products that we talk about within this training, please refer to daytonsuperior.com, where you can find technical specifications, safety data sheets, technical data sheets, application guides, you name it. At the end, we'll show you kind of your resources for that as well. So, Dayton Superior, we're not just about chemicals like we're going to go over today, but we're the leading provider of engineered solutions for, you guessed it, the concrete construction industry. And we specialize in accessories, the chemicals, forming, and we have proven solutions through both our Simon's forming and shoring products. We have concrete repair and restoration, like we're going to talk about today, haha. Bridge deck, rebar splicing, precast and tilt-up construction. We have the chemical solutions that are formulated to meet the design specs for both new and retrofit repair needs. And along with that, we have the most experienced engineering team out there. The sales team is also experienced and there for you within the industry. If you have any challenges, we have a technical service team for the different segments. And we're here for you just to show whatever you might need. At the end, we have, like I said, the resource slides, and we'll show you how to get to the person that you need to talk to. So in today's topic, we will be discussing vertical overhead concrete repairs. And with us today is none other than Mr. Paul Monin, and he is our chemical technical support specialist. You may have already talked with him or listened to his past Training Tuesdays. I hope you have. But if not, if this is your first time meeting him, I'm going to tell you a little bit about our Mr. Paul. So he grew up working in the concrete construction supply business with his dad, and then moved on to more professional after the diapers, right now.
Yeah.
Are you still wearing? No,
After high school and I got out of diapers.
yeah. So he's done positions later on that consist of working as an environmental health technician. He's done both inside and outside sales positions. He's also done warehouse management and shipping and receiving. So that helps him understand the business behind the scenes, which is really good. He has a graduate of the Ohio University. Yeah, man, you got a lot of stuff
Go
here.
Bobcats. We killed Miami this weekend. It was ugly.
Uh-oh, sorry, Miami fans. Okay, so in addition, Paul he understands you got me all messed up now. He does past data analytics position, and that delivers specifications and lead assistance. So he's good at that as well. And we're really lucky to have Paul as he's decided to stay put at Dayton Superior with us. So, okay, a little bit about non-concrete construction, unless you wear your hard hat for playing in the band. I don't know, maybe you do. Maybe like
not recently.
Not recently?
They
Okay.
kicked me out of the village people.
Oh, okay. Anyway, in his spare time, that little limited that he has, he moonlights as a working singer-songwriter and multi-instrumentalist in the Dayton, Ohio area. I could go on and on, but I'm not going to. And Chuck, say hi. I forgot to say you're here too. Hi. So Paul, take it away, mister.
All righty, Heidi. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you everybody for tuning in to Training Tuesday. We're going to talk about vertical and overhead concrete repair with a focus on chemical applications because that's the world I really know. We're going to talk about what constitutes a vertical or overhead repair. It sounds basic, but we got to start with the simple stuff. Go talk about how to use overhead repair mortars, different ways and means of patching stuff that is on a wall or on a ceiling, essentially. We're going to go over our particular products and how they fit into this world. And I'm going to cover a lot of industry knowledge, best practices, things that engineers, licensed design professionals, contractors alike need to know in order to maintain and create successful repairs. I really like this first photo because this is a lot of times where things start. People, building owners, or stakeholders, investors are looking at a building. There might be some financial stuff going on where they're selling it, buying it, refurbishing it, renting it out to a new tenant or something like that, and they see concrete spalling out. This is a great example of something you'd see in the real world, everyday life. It looks like this has already been addressed at one point or another. If you look at this large patch area, the skim coat on the outside of the ceiling does not seem to match the interior mix design. It looks like there's been some kind of coating or some kind of cementitious repair in the past, but it's all spalling out because the rebar is corroding on the inside. What am I talking about here? Before we just go, and whether it's a residential job or a commercial job, no matter how much oversight you are subject to as a contractor or as a do-it-yourself or wherever you're working, don't just start patching areas that look like they need patch. There's more to it. You need to do a thorough investigation to figure out where all this issue lies, if it's going to continue getting worse, to basically make sure you aren't wasting your time and putting some patch up that's going to end up falling out or delaminating anyway. So we're going to try to get to the root causes of the damage through our investigation process. Very common causes of concrete damage. Reinforcing steel corrosion is probably the biggest one, the most talked about one in the industry. You have issues with salt and chloride ion intrusion, which is typically a factor in more temperate climates like up here, where there are road de-icing salts everywhere and there's constant freeze-thaw cycling. Freeze-thaw cycling is not very good for concrete if it's permeable. Impact and wear. Sometimes you get into just design issues where a building was not designed the way we design things now 50 years ago and things are moving. And of course, there's always the issue that pops up occasionally where something wasn't cured, wasn't finished correctly. Basically, what I'm getting at is if you're going to repair something, repair it right. And the only way to repair it right is to address the root cause of the damage and getting to the bottom of the situation. So what are you going to use to patch concrete? You're going to use concrete repair mortars. Repair mortars are specifically designed for given applications. They might be meant to be applied in very thin layers. They might be pre-extended with coarse aggregate where it's more of a form and pour or a deeper pour kind of repair scenario. Basically, what I'm going to be trying to drive home in this whole presentation with all these products is there are a lot of things you need to think about and consider when you're selecting a repair mortar. I get a lot of phone calls from contractors, engineers who have on site a given material, something that's convenient. It's already paid for, it's in someone's truck, and they ask me, can I use this for this? Sometimes the answer is yes. Oftentimes the answer is no, because they're trying to use something that's made for grouting a base plate, for patching an overhead portion of a parking garage. So all these items here, the specifications and the compressive strength, the depth, you don't need to remember any of this. What you need to remember is when you're going into a repair job, find a repair product that does what it needs to do in order to accomplish the repair. Otherwise, once again, we're wasting time. So once again, what is a vertical or an overhead repair? Basically anything but the horizontal repair on the bottom. If you aren't working flat on the ground, it's considered a vertical or overhead repair. Overhead is typically a ceiling, something that is coming down, where if you were just to throw concrete up at the ceiling, it would fall right back down. Special considerations need to be made to make sure that materials are held into overhead spaces. And if you're working on a vertical plane, a wall, and you're patching into it, that's considered a vertical repair. You can see up at the top there's a nice little form and pour example too, where those two edges kind of meet. Typically at a conjunction of a lot of steel, a lot of best practices need to be considered in repairing form and pour areas. So we're going to go over basic application methods, broad application methods. When you're trying to figure out how do I get this patching material into the void, these are the only ways to really do it. One is use a trowel, pack it by hand. Smaller repairs, vertical spalls, even overhead repairs at limited depths in certain situations, hand application, trowel application is going to be the easiest way to go. You see it a lot on photos on the internet. You see guys just troweling on repairs, and this particular screenshot's not a great example of how that always looks. But hand applications are quick. They're easy. They don't require any secondary forming operations. It's if you're doing a lot of small areas, see this a lot in a parking garage with small pop outs and stuff like that. Hand applications are super handy. You can work at a variety of different consistencies, use a variety of different materials, and oftentimes all you need to do is trowel and finish the material. It will be sticky enough, and if the surface is prepared correctly, you can walk away from that job with working patches same day. Form and pour operations work really well on vertical overhead conjoining surfaces like we were talking about before. These are generally used for larger areas than a hand application. Oftentimes, these are applicable in areas where there is reinforcing steel that needs to be chipped out behind, and you need to get a repair mortar product worked in behind the steel to the substrate to form a continuous bond from the existing concrete to the edge of the form board. Basically, take that board, put it up, pour the stuff in. You can use pre-extended materials. Air gaps or the top gap allows air to escape. And if you have any kind of questions about what you're going to need to do to cure your patchwork, you can just leave the formwork up. It helps it retain water, helps it cure. Form and pour is very common in larger applications, commercial settings, etc. Form and pours, lower viscosity cousin, form and pump. Basically, instead of mixing stuff up in a bucket, you're going to be using a pump and a vibrator to pump a low viscosity repair material with no coarse aggregate into a pocket or a void on a vertical surface. It's similar to the form and pour system. You can leave your form bores up and help it cure. A couple really big benefits of form and pump applications are the pressure from the pump consolidates the material. You can only fit so much material into the void. So if you fill the void, that material is going to be about as consolidated as it gets. And using a vibrator on the form board really helps that as well. Form and pump applications are awesome for large scale or when you're moving from place to place to place in a big structure with a lot of repairs. Form and pump is very common. Spray applications are not something we deal with a ton here. Low velocity and high velocity spray applications tend to have different specialties and mix designs. You see this a lot with tunnels and with columns, large concrete masses where the exterior is chipping off, and after all the preparation and the fixing has been done on once again with a column, I really see a vertical surface here. You have steel that's exposed, but you're not chipped out behind it, where you're going to need to form and pour or form a pump several inches of material onto there. You can just use a sticky material and just spray it on out.
Is that your stomach grumbling, or does somebody need a muffler outside?
It sounds like someone needs a muffler because it's definitely not Harley season here in Ohio.
No, not yet.
Well, I
Can
think
we use a repair mortar on him?
I think if we use a repair mortar on that muffler, his car might blow. So we can avoid that. So before we patch, we investigate. Part of the investigation process, and this is, I don't know, maybe the most voodoo, fake, fugazi part of it to a lot of people who don't understand concrete repair. You have to find the edges of the repair. And that sounds a lot easier than it is because a lot of times you'll have small pop outs, small areas that are delaminating, and there's no visible edge of the repair. So there's a whole training section. I just went through a whole course on it through ICRI, where you can use hammers. If you're working on a bridge on a horizontal plane, you can use a chain. There's all kinds of new machines out there that measure, ultrasonic pulse velocity and impact echo, and can determine whether or not there are delaminations within the concrete where the concrete appears to be intact. So sounding out a repair area is likely to draw you further from the spalls you're seeing. but it's going to get you to the root cause of the repair in most cases. You're going to find that steel that's corroding. You're going to figure out how far it goes by using a hammer or by using equipment to sound out the edges. You're making sure that you're getting all the way to the edge of the delamination so this issue does not recur directly adjacent to the repair you're doing now. Sounding out is really interesting. If you're interested in more information on that, I would definitely check out ICRI's concrete repair technician program. They have a lot of information on how to like hear the difference between those two, a hollow and a solid piece of concrete. Repair geometry is very crucial. This is, once again, not stuff you'll hear in a lot of residential settings, but commercial settings and with licensed design professionals, engineers, they know how this works. Concrete likes to be in squares, in rectangles. It doesn't really like forming irregular shapes. It tends to crack if it's bridged across irregular edges. Basically, anytime you're going out to work on repairs, you sound out your edges, and you can see here on the left, we have all these areas. We have a crack, we have a spall, we have a crack, we have a spall. We want to connect all of these into rectangular areas that are no more than twice as wide as they are deep or thick. Keep it pretty square. That helps the repair set up, helps it adhere. You want to have defined edges. So using a grinder blade or a saw blade to cut out at a right angle into the concrete, it prevents the repair material from getting too thin. Where the repair material gets too thin, it tends to crack. So when you're laying out repairs, lay it out in squares. Use the manufacturer's recommendation for preparing the surface and laying out the repair material. You'll do much better than you will just trying to smear some concrete butter on a weird looking crack. Surface preparation is super important. We'll get into the whole ICRI standards of surface profiles in the next slide, but basically every repair material relies on mechanical profile within the existing substrate to bond. So if you have a very smooth concrete surface and you place a repair directly next to it, while there may be some chemical adhesion between the patch and the concrete, there's not a bite, so to speak. I remember in art class when I was in elementary school, we used to scarify things. Yes, and when we did clay, when we made mugs and stuff like that, you got to scarify. Yes, it's the same process. You have to scarify the surface and create a physical profile so the repair material works its way into those notches, into those little indentations, and forms a mechanical bond with the concrete, not just a chemical bond. And we'll talk about saturated surface dry here in a minute. That's really important in maintaining the correct water ratio in your repair material. I love this slide here. It's super cool. ICRI has laid out 10 different standard concrete surface profiles, CSPs, for various applications. You can see here concrete overlays and repair materials. We're generally looking at a CSP 5 or greater. And going left to right, you can see how the concrete gets more and more textured. And that's what's going to help those repair materials adhere. As we get into sealers, thin films, things that are lighter, thinner, down to thousands of inches, you don't need as much of a mechanical profile to make sure those things adhere. So always refer to the manufacturer's instructions, check through the concrete surface profile chips if you need, work with your inspector, your superintendent to make sure that the concrete's in the condition it needs for the repair material to bond. Otherwise, you're probably going to be going back and doing it again. Saturated surface dry, very simple concept. Take the concrete substrate, soak it with water, allow it to dry before placing your repair material. Think about it like, and I know a lot of people out there don't like math, but it's like a math equation. If the concrete surface lacks water, it wants to pull water. And where is it going to get the water? Your repair material, because you have to mix water into the repair material. You do not want concrete substrates sucking water out of the repair material because it can lead to underhydration of the repair material, which can cause it to crack, delaminate, issues. Saturated surface dry, it's industry knowledge. And if you're out there patching, make sure you read instructions, and if it calls for an SSD condition, do it. Otherwise, your repair material is probably going to delaminate. Mixing, once again, manufacturer instructions are super important. From job to job, mixing methods can vary based on volume and based on the type of material being used. Make sure you read what kind of mixing paddle the manufacturer is recommending. The more and more you learn about mixing paddles and how they work with materials, the more and more you'll find that is a very, I think, underappreciated, detail-oriented aspect of the job. We just need to basically, whatever method we need to use, we need to make sure that there's no clumps, that everything's mixed homogeneously. That way you don't have underhydration, overhydration, water coming out of the repair material, segregation, issues like that on the job. Make sure you read the mixing instructions from the TDS prior to mixing the material. Make sure you have all the tools on hand before you put water to powder. Otherwise, the timer's already started and you don't have what you need. I think that covers that. Let's go through some products. We have a lot of different repair products that do, the same things and different things. Most popular, or the ones I talk about most often, are Recreate 20 and less so Recreate 5. These are very, very versatile repair materials. They set up quickly. They can be applied from very thin repair areas, 1/8 of an inch up to 2 inches neat. They can be extended with gravel. You can add our bonding agent, our acrylic, J40, substitute some of the mixing water for that to give it an enhanced sticky properties. Recreate 20 is an awesome product. It gets used every day on all kinds of stuff. I get questions all the time about, can Recreate 20 do this? Can Recreate 20 do that? If you ever are not sure, please call us. But generally speaking, I have a lot of confidence in the Recreate products to perform in various application areas, horizontal, vertical, overhead. It's good stuff to have. It's one of our biggest movers. HG25 is a specially designed vertical or overhead repair material. It's polymerized and it's fiber enhanced. Fibers in repair materials, like little tiny strands of, like, I don't know, what do you call that? Like rope, like a string, the little tiny strings, fibers in the patch material. They enhance the flexural strength and the tensile strength of repair materials, make them stronger. This HG25 is a great trowel-on product, like we were talking about really early in the presentation. If you're working with small areas that are, generally speaking, 1/4 to 2 inches thick, with some larger areas where you could extend the material with aggregate, this is an awesome material to apply by hand and work through those areas, go one to the next, to the next, to the next, mix up a bag at a time. It's great stuff. This kind of work is very common. And if you're working in parking garages, or if you work on dams or anything big, gray concrete, HG25 is going to be a good one for you. Civil structural VO, probably the most unique things about this product are that it can be sprayed. Like you see here in this demo we did at one of our locations, and it contains an integral corrosion inhibitor. So if you're working in somewhere where steel corrosion is a major issue and a cause of delaminations, civil structural VO will probably be the product you want to use for that. Pro Patch VO is a little different. It's an epoxy paste adhesive. So it is capable of building up to 2 inches like a concrete repair mortar, but it's actually an epoxy paste. You can see here on the slide, they can be used as a pick-proof sealant for special applications. And if you're doing epoxy injections, sold as capping paste as well. It's NSF 61 certified too. So if you're working somewhere with potable water restrictions, it's a good choice for that. I'm moving through these products here. Heidi gave me the time signal earlier, so they know. Permapatch VO, another single component, versatile repair material, gains strength really quickly, goes down to a 1/4 inch, so it can be set really thin, can be extended up to 6 inch. Great trowelable product. Yet another one of our vertical and overhead repair materials. Polyfast FS is similar, trowel applied, polymer modified, single component repair material. You can extend it for deep repairs, 1/4 to 2 inches neat. You'll see fast strength gain, high strength, on all these slides. We sell a lot for DOT applications, and typically they want their roads turned around as quickly as possible. Special patch is kind of the first patching product I ever saw working in a warehouse. You have the bag and the jug. If you've been working in concrete since the 70s, you know your bag and jug repair materials. You get the milk and you get the powder. It's great for horizontal, vertical, thin, thick repairs. It's pretty versatile as far as its depth goes, can be extended. And most of those contains the jug products they always say are really good for abrasion resistance, makes it stronger because you're reducing the water content. Superior Wall Finish is not really a patching product, more of a dressing product. Um, this is a very common chemical application, especially in tilt-up construction. Basically, you need a material to reprofile a wall so it doesn't have form marks, potholes, whatever imperfections come out from the forming process. There's wall dressing. It's big business. Superior Wall Finish is an awesome product. We tested it against some competitive products and we found it really does well. Very creamy.
Would you say it's superior?
It is superior.
Yeah, and there's an in the know out there. I'll put the link on there for the resources when I post this. We got a lot of good YouTube things on there. Todd Fraker's doing it, and it's really interesting to watch.
Well, if you know the Todd father's on camera, you know.
That's right.
You know
Just a ring.
You know, it's the big dog going on there.
Chuck.
Yeah, Superior Wall Finish. If you're looking for a wall dressing compound because you have imperfections in the wall, Superior Wall Finish is what you want to do. Seal Coat 1000 is kind of an interesting product. Not really falling in the traditional repair mortar sort of section. A lot of subgrade waterproofing products or projects require a product like this that can withstand hydrostatic pressure, stop moisture penetration, and basically be a breathable coating that you can put on the inside of a wall and that's going to help water stay out. Basement foundation, waterproofing projects, Seal Coat 1000. So just to kind of summarize everything we just went through, measure twice, cut once, investigate your repairs before you start putting stuff up. If you want to carry out a successful repair, make sure you are spending enough time selecting the material and not just using whatever you have in your truck. Surface preparation, substrate and ambient conditions, basically consider the whole job site. You know, it's a little bit bigger than just what's in your bucket. And yeah, mix, place, finish. Take some skill, take some trial and error. If you've never repaired concrete before and you're trying for the first time, read that bag really carefully. And if you have a neighbor who knows how to help, ask your neighbor for help because very rarely the first time does it go well. So if you ever need anything, call us. We're here to help. Happy to answer any questions you have about anything we just presented. Heidi's gonna go through the Zoom chat now and see what we got.
Yeah, I don't see anything out there, but this is your time to ask questions either through chat or the Q&A. You want to do resources? I can do it. We'll do it together.
Okay.
So what do we have out there? DaytonSuperior.com.
DaytonSuperior.com has everything I know that we provide as far as product pages, tech data, safety data sheets. We have guides on how to use our products. You can request lead documentation for big commercial jobs where they want to know where everything's made.
That's right.
You can fill out the chemical specification assistance form and send me an email.
Yeah, it goes to you, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. You can figure out who your salesperson is by looking at the map. You can look at.
Oh, you got ahead of ourselves. We got some more stuff before the map.
Okay, we have a VOC compliance information.
We do.
We have a whole chemical handbook. We have guide documents. We have
what?
training videos.
That's right.
Like past training Tuesdays.
Or the one I referenced with Todd Fraker.
Yeah.
We said his name twice. He's going to get royalties twice over with 10 cents, I think. Okay. Dr. Todd. And here you go.
Here's the map. Yeah.
Here's the map.
I like the map because, yeah, big company. Somebody's got to know who to call. So if you ever don't know who to call, look at the map and it'll tell you who to call. There's also a big, I have to plug this for Sarah.
Absolutely.
There is a DOT map on our website. So if you are working on a DOT project and you need a patching compound or you need a cure or you need insert product X that is on Ohio DOT, there is an interactive map where you select your state and it goes through all the products and
That's absolutely right. I
It's
should put that
awesome.
on there.
It's awesome.
Yeah, so if you're looking for DOT or for Build America, Buy America, we have, like Paul said, there's a map out there that you just plug in the state and see what is available to you for not only chemicals, but for accessories as well. So it's really, really rocking. It's going back to the maps here. If you go to DaytonSuperior.com and you do a contact us on the top toolbar, you will get to this look and feel right here where you have Dayton Superior and Simon's maps to choose from. Just pick your state and you can find all the contact information that you need with phone numbers and emails, and contact the person. It doesn't look like we have any questions, so we're going to hit this last slide here before we talk about a lot of it. You see that QR code getting bigger on you. If you want more training, we went fast. Training Tuesdays are fast and furious. They're just a little enticer. If you want more in depth or you want custom training, please scan that QR code, or you can reach Chuck and myself at training@DaytonSuperior.com. That goes to both of us, and just tell us what you need. Online platform with technical resources. We talked about that. We've got the technical sales team. We've got the Pauls. So I should have just put his phone number right there, but basically that top phone number is him.
It is.
So just instead of dedicated tech service, we're going to say Paul service.
Yep.
So I think with that, we're at 1 minute over. Thank you for speeding up, but not too fast. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
And you guys out there, I'm going to leave this slide up for just a minute, but that concludes today's Training Tuesday. And we hope that you join us next week. We're going to be talking about winterizing and for concrete construction repair and how to deal with cold weather. So I know Florida guys, sorry, I used to live in Florida and 30 degrees was freezing to me, but maybe you won't need it as much.
That is 30 degrees. Oh,
you're right.
40,
See, me and
40.
math and science, I don't know.
40.
I draw things. Okay, guys, we've had fun today. Thank you. And this is recorded. They're put out on DaytonSuperior.com as well as our YouTube channels. So you can get to it then. If you need us, you got the contact information, and we appreciate you all. Until next week, see you later.
It's gonna be some rocking.
Rockin'.
Some
Bye now.
rocking.